Ethereum completes the merge. Do Kwon is facing an arrest warrant, and Bitcoin is going down. We're going to discuss the news and break down this chart. Let's go. What is up, gang? It is I, Carlton Flowers, your crypto pro.
Yay!
And tonight, we need to look at the chart and break down the recent Bitcoin action, as I've got some new technical indicators that are very interesting that might give us a clear view of what's taking place right now that could be significant just since the last update. That is why I had to squeeze this in. But we've also got some very interesting news that I wanted to go over from the Cointelegraph site. So let's talk about the news, and then I'll show you this new evidence that we have on the chart. But before we begin, as always, this is not financial advice. Please understand that this is for entertainment purposes only, and I am only sharing my thoughts and opinions of what is going on in the market today. All right, so here we are. Ethereum completes the merge. Let's check out some of these stories and talk about a couple of things. First of all, the historic day for crypto as Ethereum merge to proof of stake occurs. So here we have it. It says that Ethereum's highly anticipated conversion to a proof of stake consensus algorithm, dubbed the merge, took place at 6:42 a.m. UTC on September 15th. It goes on to say that the move is a key part of an overarching multi-year transition for the Ethereum blockchain. It starts a chain reaction of changes, says Eli Ben Sasson, co-founder and president of Starkware, told Cointelegraph regarding the merge. The merge will reportedly help the Ethereum blockchain reduce its energy consumption by around 99%. One thing that I noticed about this that I had wrong, I was believing some of the false stories out there that once this merge takes place, that Ethereum gas fees go out the window and will be pennies per transaction. That was wrong. Now, actually, the gas fees have gone down, but it's not because of the merge. I guess since we are in a bear market right now and volume is lower than it is than when we are in a bull run, the fees will naturally go down. So I've been fooling around on MetaMask and trying to do swaps. That's my new thing, and I'm going to have to shoot a video on this. Doing swaps on MetaMask, I noticed that the gas fees have reduced from $10 to $15 per transaction, and now it's somewhere around $2 per transaction. But sometimes you can still see gas fees since the merge ramp up to as much as $8 to $10 per transaction. So just because we have moved to proof of stake from the stable and secure proof of work, that does not mean that the gas fees are going out the window. And this is why I am using the Polygon network. And we'll get more into that in the near future, where you can do swaps and the transaction fees are pennies, 2 cents, 3 cents per transaction. Okay, well, let's just scroll down here because there's a couple things that jump out here that I think are worth looking at in the news. And let's see here. This is one thing that's very interesting in the quote section. It says here from Dan Thompson, the chief of marketing officer for InsureAce. DeFi insurance is a sleeping giant with less than 1% of all crypto covered and less than 3% of DeFi. There's a huge market opportunity to be realized. And I think that's very true, because how many times have you made mistakes and you've lost coins? If you're really into this crypto game, you've probably lost tokens by transferring from one network to the other, not realizing that you have to have matching networks, or you use the wrong address, or you get ripped off by a scam. Or you're staking your coins and locking them away for some DeFi scheme, and then you end up in a failed situation like with Celsius, where you lose all of your tokens because the project or the company that is in charge of this DeFi opportunity, they get into crypto lending, where they borrow way more than what they have in reserves, and they enter into somewhat of a Ponzi scheme where they borrow money and then they invest that and try to pay the dividends to pay off the loans, but then they invest or take gains from what they borrowed and leverage that again to get more loans, and it just builds upon itself. And that is how we had the catastrophic situation with Celsius, because they were so far out in their lending that when the market started to go down, they could not cover their base, and it crashed. So I think that DeFi insurance and crypto insurance is going to be a big thing, because we are still in the wild, wild west. I'm going to keep my eyes on that. And as the DeFi market matures, when we start seeing this insurance thing play out, we're definitely going to have to talk about that more. Now, this is interesting. The prediction of the week. It says here that Bitcoin price threatens 19.6 thousand as Ray Dalio predicts a 30% stock market crash. It says that Bitcoin got all the way above 22,000 this week, but subsequently fell back below the 20,000 mark in the days following, according to Cointelegraph's BTC price index. We had talked in the last video about people calling for a bear market rally, and the charts are telling us otherwise right now. I almost believed it, because after we bounced off of the red dashed line, it looked like a rally was going to happen. But I've got some new indicators that are showing us that that rally might be short-lived. But we'll wait here for a second, and we'll get into that as soon as we break down the chart. All right. This is interesting. The SEC intends to ban crypto lending in the country. Thailand Securities Exchange Commission wants to forbid digital asset business operators from providing crypto lending and staking services to customers, according to a September 15th announcement from the government agency. Now, we could see that spill over here in the U.S. because we know that the U.S. government is all over cryptocurrency. They want their hands in this pie, and they want to take a big of a chunk that they can before people are empowered financially. Moving right along, what else do we have in the news that is worth talking about? This is interesting. Ethereum is eating the world. You only need one internet. Is there a need for more than one internet? And as we all know, the answer is heck no. For the Ethereum maxis, I really don't think that Ethereum is going to take over the space. And I'm going to show you an interesting chart, a comparison that my good friend Simon, shout out to you, Simon, sent me today, that shows the difference between some of these popular blockchains. And when you see this, you're going to be wondering yourself if Ethereum holds the key to the future in crypto. All right, what do we have next here? That's about all in the news here. Let's look at this chart, as a matter of fact, right now. Let me see. I've got it saved right here. Here is the chart. Let's move this over just a little bit and maybe zoom it in so you can see this clearly. All right. Now, you see that this comparison chart has various projects, and it gives us some information that shows the difference between these projects. All right, starting out with Caspa, and then we have Bitcoin, Cadena, that I'm very bullish on, but now I'm starting to change my mind. We have Ethereum, Litecoin, Cardano. I don't trust Cardano, and this chart will show you why. Ergo, Ravencoin, Dogecoin, the meme, and Stellar Lumens, that I'm a big fan of for sending crypto from one exchange to another or to MetaMask. First of all, they talk about the purpose of the project. Caspa solves the blockchain trilemma. If you don't know what that is, look it up. I will do a video on that, but it discusses the three aspects of blockchain: speed, security, and scalability. Bitcoin is a store of value. Kadena is scalability and ease of use. Ethereum is the basis of smart contracts and apps, which is the juggernaut right now. Litecoin is a low-fee Bitcoin, and it's useless. Cardano is the Ethereum alternative that I don't have much confidence in, and you'll see why. Ergo is for financial contracts. It's becoming very popular. Ravencoin is about asset transfer. Doge is the meme, and Stellar is for cross-border payments that I like more than XRP. Let's just look at speed here and compare. The block time to complete one block. Caspa, 1 second. Bitcoin takes 10 minutes. KDA takes 30 seconds. Ethereum, now that it has converted to proof of stake, 20 seconds. Litecoin at 2.5 minutes, that sucks. Cardano, 20 seconds, not so great. Ergo, pretty slow at 2 minutes. Ravencoin is a minute, as with Dogecoin. And Stellar Lumens is 3 seconds. I like Stellar, it is very quick. So we see that thus far, Caspa is the winner when it comes to speed. All right. Now, the consensus mechanism, how does it work? Caspa's proof of work, which is the most stable, secure, safe way to operate a blockchain. Bitcoin, of course, proof of work. Kadena, proof of work. Ethereum, proof of stake after the merge. Litecoin is proof of work. Cardano is proof of stake. Ergo, proof of work. Ravencoin, proof of work, as with Dogecoin. And then Stellar Lumens has the Stellar consensus. All right. Next, we have scalable technology. Is it scalable? Can you expand it where it can handle more transactions than what it is doing right now? Caspa, yes. Bitcoin, of course, no. Kadena, yes. It's got 20 chains. The next step is 100 chains. And finally, they will have 1,000 chains. Ethereum, for right now, no. Litecoin, Cardano, Ergo, Ravencoin, Dogecoin, all no. Stellar is scalable. So Caspa still is kind of looking like the best one right now. Max supply in millions. Well, Caspa's got 28.7 billion, so it might not be breaking any price records. Bitcoin is only 21 million. We know that's why the high price. Kadena at 1 billion. That's not bad. Ethereum, look at this. It's infinity. Did you know that? They can add coins to infinity in order to keep the project moving. Litecoin, 84 million. Cardano's at 45 billion. Man, that's, oh gosh, I tell you what, this is bad. That's the biggest one. It's even bigger than Caspa that has too much. All right, Ergo 98 million, 21 million for Ravencoin, infinity on Dogecoin. That's another reason why I'm not putting too much into Dogecoin, because they could infinitely print more tokens. And Stellar is at 50 billion. That's pretty high, but Stellar, I just use it for utility purposes, for moving money across blockchains. Does the project solve the trilemma? Caspa does. Oops, that's red. We want to get rid of that. Let's use green here. Caspa is yes. So we're going to put a little nice check mark here for Caspa. That's good. Oops, we need to put that down here. So this gets a big check mark. That's fantastic. Bitcoin, no. Kadena, yes, but partially. So we'll put a little check mark. That was kind of surprising to find that out. Ethereum and all the rest do not solve the blockchain trilemma. Smart contract capability, Caspa's working on it. They're new. Bitcoin, no. You have to do a layer 2. Kadena, yes. So right now, that's a big check mark for Kadena. Ethereum is the juggernaut. It gets a check. That's where most of the smart contracts are. Litecoin, no. Cardano, yes, but I'm not impressed with Cardano. Yes on Ergo, no with Ravencoin, Dogecoin, and Stellar. Next, we have the gas fees. This is a big check for Caspa. Low gas fees. Boom. Bitcoin super high. Cadena is low. That gets a check mark. Ethereum is high, and that's why I don't like working on the ERC20 blockchain. Then we have medium on Litecoin, low on Cardano, but I don't like Cardano, and it's low on everything else except for medium on Dogecoin, which is garbage. This is dog crap to me. Let's just put an X through that. Did they do fair launch? And we have a yes on Caspa, yes for Bitcoin, no for Cadena, no for Ethereum, no for Litecoin, no for Cardano, and yes on the rest. Okay, how about the ICO pre-mine? Did they pre-mine the coin before the ICO? No on Caspa. That's pretty good. You get a check mark, Caspa. No on Bitcoin. It's the standard. Cadena did, and that's kind of got me wondering. We're going to put a question mark on that one because that's not as good for Cadena. Ethereum, yes, they did. Litecoin, Cardano, yes, and no on the rest. The market cap, this is good too, because the market cap is only 52 million for Caspa, so it is a hidden gem. It's a small cap wonder. This is the one that could have the most potential, even though you've got this big fat max supply that's not good. That gets a red box there. Bitcoin is the juggernaut at 39 billion. And then we've got 289 million on Cadena. It's pretty small. Ethereum is at 20 billion, half of Bitcoin. And then the rest are, fairly big. You got 15 billion on Cardano. That's the only good thing about Cardano is that there's a lot of money that's tied up into it, but I still don't like it. And then Dogecoin has a pretty darn decent market cap, as with Stellar. So in the bottom line is right here, just for the fact that this one is such a small cap project, I'm looking into buying some Caspa. That's not financial advice. I do still have a nice bag of Cadena, and I might grow it a little bit, but I'm going to tell you what, this is where I'm putting my attention, and I'm going to be watching this project right here to see if this plays out. All right, let's get rid of all of that. And now it is time to move on to the chart. Let's get on the Bitcoin chart and pull me down here to the middle. And we can see on the 4-hour chart that we are currently forming a nice ugly red candle here. You also see a couple new lines on my chart. You see this line here and you see this line here. And what does this form? It forms a widening wedge. Or we could also call this a megaphone formation. I talked about this in the last video. In fact, I could pull this down. Let's modify this chart just a little bit. We're going to pull this line down so we can get the bottoms of these wicks. And we see that all the action since the plunge is moving around. The movement is staying within this broadening wedge. What could that possibly mean? It could mean that we could fall out of this and take a dip below the red dashed line. All right. Now, notice a few things on this 4-hour chart that while we're forming this red candle here, we see the stochastic is about to peak. Notice how the blue line is curling over and looks like it wants to come back down and touch to this red line. And if we do, this cycle is going to move down. Also notice that we now have a light green bar on the histogram. And while the blue line, the fast line on the MACD's oscillator set is moving up, it looks like it's starting to curl over. So we might see this fall over and start to continue down south. So for right now, with this rejection at the top of this line, my eyes are on this widening wedge formation, this megaphone that's saying, hey, everybody, something big's about to happen. So that's why I tend to throw up the caution flag again, where I'm not listening to these people who are calling for bear market rally. I'm not listening just yet. In fact, we still have other people that say that this is the start of the bull market. There's some crazy opinions out there, and I just don't understand. We're still in the midst of a bear market, and with all of the negative news out there, the derogatory things that are hurting the market, we have to use our heads and say, all right, we got to weigh all of this and consider the fact that the world economic conditions are going to spill over into the cryptocurrency market and affect this too. The feds can't suck all this money out of the system and then us sit here and expect that it's not going to affect cryptocurrency. Let's move to the one-day chart. Here we are with the one-day chart. Let's scrunch this around. And this almost looks somewhat positive. And the reason is because we have this crossover that's happening right here. We see that the fast line just crossed over the slow line. However, depending on the action that we have on the 4-hour and the severity of the stochastic crossover that is on the shorter scale, we could see this fall over. This could be a head fake. So I'm not trusting this possibly bullish indicator. I'm also not trusting this action down here. And here's why. First of all, we do see that we're printing light green bars on the histogram, and we are approaching the zero line, which says we could come down into negative territory. And we also see that the fast line is about to touch down on the slow line. If this crosses over, this is going to head south. And that would confirm whether or not this is a fake out that we just saw right here. So I am being very cautious because this megaphone, we're at the top of it, and we need to see if we fail the red dash line and if we come down here to the bottom of the megaphone. Now we could bounce back up and test this top line again, and then that could be where we fall out of the megaphone for a super bearish slide. Now, let's look at the 1 day, or the 1 week rather. Anything new happening here? Not really. We're still in a big fat red candle upstairs. All right. Here's our red candle that we are currently in. And we are sitting at this peak volume node right there on the VPVR, which stands for volume node visible range. And this means how much volume is trading at a particular price instead of at a particular time, like we have over here on the histogram upstairs on the price chart. Price tends to gravitate towards these nodes, and we are at this peak node right here. Okay, if we fall off of that node, we could drop down to the next node that is way down here because we have this little slip zone in between where volume tails off. And we tend to get snatched to the next bigger node. We still have these other big ones that are down here, and we talked about that in the last video, so we don't need to rehash that. Now, we can finish this video by looking at the DXY, and then we're done. So, what is happening with the DXY? We don't need to look at the Dow because we know what's happening with the Dow. The DXY is still in a very bullish romp. And we can see that we're still in the midst of a nice green candle here on the 1 week chart. We do have a bearish cross here, but as I've told you before, we could stay upstairs in this zone and the overall momentum could continue to go up. Now, what could affect this chart? It's going to be the announcement next week. Do we have a 75-point increase or a 100-point increase? As we mentioned before, we already know it's not going to be the 25-point or the 50-point. So even if we get a 75, that's still going to be bullish for the DXY. If we get the 100, the DXY is going to have a heyday. It's going to have a party, and it's going to surge. Let's go backwards and look at the 1 day chart. Here we can see a little bit more of that red action as we have the crossover about to happen here. But we still keep bouncing off of the 50 EMA. Every time we touch down, we bounce back up. I thought we were really going to violate it here, but we bounce back up. We touched it again here, we bounce back up. So in the next few days, we could see DXY come down and then bounce back up off of this 50 EMA again. Now, that's no guarantee, But that's just what the chart is telling us today. Okay? That's all it's saying today. All right, to end it, let's just jump back to the Bitcoin chart. And in review, we're waiting to see if on the one-day chart that this is going to be the indication of moving up or if it is going to be a fake out because of the other indicators downstairs telling us otherwise. Well, that's all I've got for now. I would love it if you would like, comment, and subscribe to the Crypto Pro channel. And I appreciate all of you who have supported the channel. And as promised, premium preview content is coming soon. Stay tuned. I will have some premium previews with no editing, just with the straight commentary on what is happening with the charts. It's coming in a few days. I'll get as many as I can done for you. And also, look out because I'm going to have a Kadena blockchain Kadena DEX report to talk about the projects that are on the Kadena blockchain. And then I'll have to give you an update on what's happening with Caspa, as I am going to take a deep dive and consider grabbing me some Caspa coins. That's about all I've got for now. I appreciate you watching. Post your comments below. This is Carlton, and I am out.